fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and Head that D tuned in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Tune in to the fish report.
Welcome to another Fish Report Live. I'm Craig Fissinger, sitting in tonight for the vacationing Ken Francis as our high school intern Brandon Coverman. And, of course, back in the sound room, we have TK and Heavy D. We'll be talking to them here in just a little bit, but thanks for joining us. And Brandon, you've been awfully busy this spring. I know you're a high school baseball player for Russia, as well as you've been helping us out a lot during the season on the show here. Did some CYO games, some play-by-play here just a couple weeks ago, but thanks for joining us tonight again.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me. I always love being on Fish Report.
All right, well, listen, last week it was kind of a girls' theme. We were talking girls' softball. We were talking girls' track. Tonight it's the boys' turn, isn't it?
Yeah, tonight we will be actually talking baseball the first half, and the second half we will have a longtime track and field coach of Anna, Dean Stewart, as our interview in the second half.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to Dean. I know you don't know a lot about track, boys track. I heard you made a few comments like, boy, Craig, I'm not sure about talking about track, but Dean Stewart probably knows more than you and I put together. So, yeah, we'll get all the information we need from him. And I know you like talking baseball, so looking forward to doing that. And speaking of which, tonight's poll question has to do with baseball. Why don't you tell our viewers what tonight's poll question is?
Yeah, tonight's poll question has to do with SCL baseball with the season just kicking off. And our question is, who do you think will win the league this year? It's A, Anna, B, Botkins, C, Houston, or D, Russia. So vote online. Yeah, we've got those four choices, and I know some of the guys were asking me before the show started tonight, hey, Craig, where's Fort Laramie? You don't have Fort Laramie on there. You're going to have your Redskins fans yelling at you tonight. Well, I just went through the standings, and those four teams, I know it's early in the season, but those four teams happen to be the top four teams in the standings. I know Fort Laramie picked up a win the other night against Marion Local. I believe they're sitting at 2-3 right now, but they're getting back on track, but didn't have Fort Laramie in the poll answer tonight, so you got those other four choices to choose from. And if you're watching us on the Fish Report Live page, you can scroll down on your computer, help us answer tonight's poll question, check the results out like you said online. If you're watching us on NK Telco right now, we will have those results for you at the end of the show. All right, Brandon, let's get things going. Talking some baseball. We're going to bring in the sound room guys for this, and we like to talk about the area here, and we like to talk MAC, CCC, SCAL. Keep it in the area here, but want to talk about some of the maybe the teams, some of the individuals we want to look forward to, and again, want to bring the sound room guys in there. There's TK and Heavy D. Guys, let's start out with the with the MAC. MAC is good in a lot of sports, including baseball. And TK, I'd like to ask you, again, teams, individuals, what can we expect from the MAC, or at least what have you seen this early in the season?
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of the same, as you said, always strong in every sport. MAC bringing two teams back that were in state semifinals last year. We'll talk about those in detail. Coldwater, always strong, as well as the other teams, always good competition. First off, talk about Versailles. They're one of the two teams made it to the state semifinals last year, lost there in the D3 to Berlin Highland 3-0, and they all were ultimately the champions. But that doesn't mean they're not going to be strong this year. Coach Slater does have a good team coming back. They've started out 4-1. They're 0-1 in the MAC. That loss was to Fort Recovery. We'll talk about them in a moment. But still a strong team with really good pitching there in Versailles. It's anchored by Cole Niekamp and Keaton McEldowney, two names that have been around seems like forever, because I think they've been starting since they're freshmen. They're both juniors now. Good pitchers and great hitters and infielders. And Keaton, also a very good center fielder. I've seen him play a lot of speed out there. Very smart player out in center field. Fort Recovery, again, the other team that made it to state semis last year, they lost to Newark Catholic. Newark Catholic went on to win the state. Again, a strong team anchored by infielder Cade Wendell. The pitcher for that semifinal game was Nick Thwaites as a sophomore last year, and he was throwing in the 80s as a sophomore. I can't believe he's done anything but get better over in the off season, so he'll be quite something this year for Fort Recovery over there. They are 4-1 also, and 1-0 in the MAC again with that win over Versailles. I also mentioned Coldwater, always a good team. Maybe not as good as they wanted to be last year, battling out in the districts, but Coach Harlemet has a really strong team over there this year. Look for a lot of wins out of them. They did lose a lot of All-MAC players, but Dylan Toby is one that's coming back and looks to be a good player there. So, as always, MAC's going to be strong in baseball. Going over there to play, you're going to have to bring your A game to win that one.
Yeah, I think they graduated 5-6 guys over there at Coldwater, first and second teamers over there at Coldwater, and it's amazing that they're still in consideration for one of the best in the league. You didn't even mention like Minster and Delphus, some teams that are still very good, but when you're talking about teams like Versailles and Fort Recovery and Coldwater, it's hard to even mention those guys with strong teams like that.
Yeah, and just to follow up on what they were saying before, Cole Niekamp, Keaton McEldowney is the nucleus for that team at Versailles. And Cole Niekamp has actually already committed to play at Ohio State. He's a future Buckeye. And Nick Thwaites is also committed to already play at Kent State for the Golden Flashes over there.
Yeah, so a couple big guys there in the MAC. And Versailles, they've got a pitching roster, Brandon, that's pretty deep over there. Got guys like Bruns over there and some guys like that they go awfully deep in their pitching staff.
Yeah, very young pitching staff over there at Versailles. Majority juniors. I think they pitched maybe one senior on and off, but they'll be very deep, and they'll be back again next year.
Yeah. All right, Heavy D, let's, the CCC's a conference that we don't talk a whole lot about on this show as far as baseball goes. Don't see a whole lot of them, but I know there's a couple teams over there that we've been catching in the papers here that have been doing okay, and probably some teams are worth mentioning.
Yeah, a couple teams off to a great start, Craig. Let's take a look at the Newton Indians, off to a 7-1 start. They beat Miami East this past Tuesday 10-0, and their one loss
against Bethel, actually. One loss against Bethel. They got beat 1-0 in that game.
Oh, yeah, 7-1, yeah, against Bethel, yep. And their one loss was the pitchers for Newton actually pitched a no-hitter between Rhett Geip and Charlie Walker, combined for a no-hitter, and ended up getting the loss on that one. And another good team in the area is Tri-Village. They're off to a 4-0 start overall, including two come-from-behind wins this week over Legacy Christian and Covington. Their ace on the mound appears to be Johnny Wilson, who is off to a 2-0 start.
Johnny Wilson, a name we've talked about this season. Actually, I think the quarterback for Tri-Village, as well as a pretty decent basketball player, too, I think.
Yeah, 3 sports standout there at Tri-Village. It looks like to be the ace on the mound there for the Patriots.
Yeah, so we talk a little Covington Bucks on this show when we talk CCC, but don't mention Newton and Tri-Village too much when we're talking about baseball. Nice to see they're off to a good start. We'll see how that goes as the season goes.
Yeah, Newton's been in the district finals the past 2 years. I know the other year they lost to Russia in the district finals, but they're a very good team, and they're known around the area for their baseball.
All right, Brandon, I know you're very familiar with the SCAL. You're playing in it right now, but a lot of good teams, a lot of good players in this area. Who are you excited about as far as teams? Obviously, I know one team you're excited about, but what teams and players are you watching this season?
Well, a lot of the consensus pick in the area is that Anna's going to go for a three-peat this year. They're led by Mitchell Lindsay as their ace. They got Cummings kid that comes in relief, a solid left-hander. And right behind him, obviously, the Russia Raiders, Junior Hunter Cohee, who's getting up there in the 80s with his pitching. Very solid, good hitter, second team all SCAL. They're Drew Sherman, Trenton Monin stepping up, doing well catching this year. Sophomore Daniel Kearns will be looked on to give some key innings this year. Jack Daypore as well. And then also you can't count out Fort Laramie either. Despite not having a JV team this year, they got a real solid team. Might be 2-3. People might not see him as the Laramie of old, but Bill Sturwald has 2 state championships, so I'm not going to doubt him. Jared Mittendorf, who shut out Russia both times Russia faced him last year, is back as a sophomore. I'm sure he'll lead the staff. And then Daniel Burning, he's a very solid player. Dylan Albers, who every time I play against him, he always smashes the heck out of the ball. And you can't downlook Houston either. Houston's got a solid team. Howie Ludwig, all team, second team selection, I think, last year, hit well. Can pitch well if he finds his control. And they also have Dylan Hensley and Isaiah Beaver, so solid Houston team.
Well, a couple of those teams you mentioned, Russia and Anna, they're actually supposed to match up on Thursday night, tomorrow night, in a big league game, if that happens.
Yeah, it's supposed to be about 40 degrees, I think, high, 40 miles an hour wind, and some snow. So I don't know if we're going to get that game in or not.
Good chance that one might be postponed, you think?
Yeah, and at this pitch count, it's been really difficult. I mean, being back on JV and varsity, coaches had to use a lot more strategery with their pitching. You might have to not go with your quote-unquote ace against your best team. You might have to go with your 2 or 3 guys. So you have to be a lot deeper if you want to go further this year. You can't just have 2 or 3 pitchers.
Yeah, kind of a different aspect that we've seen this season, and something we'd like to talk to some coaches about as the season goes on and ask them how they deal with that. Well, listen, that's going to do it for our baseball talk, but we're going to take a short break. Stay right there when we come back. We're going to talk some boys track, including that big interview with Anna coach Dean Stewart.
Stage at the leaving van. Music starts at 8 o'clock. You can find us here every Wednesday night. It's usually the same cats every week, but I can't tell you all their names. Teacher, cat, and a junkie, all waiting for time to play. Everybody here's got something that we're trying to leave behind. We're all a little broken, for a place to hide. Get no answers, don't ask any questions. We're all here just looking for a high. Yeah, we're all beautifully broken here tonight.
Welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live. Before the break, we were talking some baseball. Now we're going to talk a little track. And like I said, it's a boys' night, so we're going to be talking some boys' track. And, Brandon, track is a little bit different than baseball. I know you're always playing for wins and baseball during the season, trying to get that record up so when you get to postseason, you can get as good a seed as you deserve. But in track, a little bit different type of variables going on there. Where they're usually getting ready, training for the postseason, trying to get ready for that conference meet at the end of the season, and then on into districts and so on. But one team that's been very good about that recently, or actually for a long time, is the Anna Rockets, the boys team. They've actually won 11 of the last 13 league titles. Pretty amazing. And, of course, they're led by head coach Dean Stewart. Happy to have him live on the phone right now. Coach, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for asking me on.
Well, listen, we're just talking a little track here, Coach, and mentioning how it has a lot of variables. You have a team competition, you have individual competition. Sometimes you have smaller meet like quad meets. Sometimes you have big invites like you have coming up this weekend. How has your Anna Rockets team started out this season? Are you happy with them?
I'm very happy with them. We've had 2 quad meets where we finished first in both, and then last Saturday at the Tip City Invitational, we finished second behind Middletown and beat teams like Troy, Sydney, Tip City, a really good Covington boys team. So I'm really happy.
Well, listen, last week we were talking on this show about how the there's a lack of athletes in this area as far as baseball and softball. Some teams aren't even able to field a junior varsity team, yet you seem to have good numbers over there at Anna, and you seem to every year. What do you do over there, Coach, that gets people, or gets boys especially, excited about track, whereas other schools maybe lack numbers that you get?
I was trying to think about that, and I was thinking we don't do anything special as far as recruiting, or we pretty much, I think it's more by word of mouth of the kids who competed the year before, talking other kids into coming out, telling them, look what I've done. I think you can do the same thing. We do have a really good coaching staff that I know the kids expect and know they will get them into shape, that they'll be able to participate at their best level. But I really think this comes down to we do keep it fun still. We make them track important, but basically we don't make it their everything. Like it's their lives that they have to, put everything into. Spring's a very busy time, a lot of things going on, and when the kids leave the track practice, they know, they don't have to worry about track till the next day, and we push them, but we still keep it fun.
Hi, Coach. This is Brandon Coverman. I ran track actually 1 year in 7th grade. I got a side story here, and I was told, I was hearing about this kid named Logan Kuntz, that he was a great pole vaulter, and I had to see there to watch him, and yet he set the SCAL record for pole vault at night in junior high. I know he went to state as a sophomore, and I think he missed state last year, and I heard he's committed to the Air Force Academy now. How is he looking this year?
A lot of, like last year at the regionals, Logan basically, he vaulted 15-8 at the county, 15-4 at the regional or districts, and he's been trying to get up on a bigger pole. And basically, he's been struggling with that since last spring. He knows he needs to get on a taller pole to go higher, and his aspirations well over 16 foot. And if pole vaulters have been around it long enough, sometimes you can get into a funk where mentally you just can't get over it. And then finally they make it past that, and they'll increase a foot to 2 feet. And he's kind of in that right now. For him, he's been going 13.6, 14 feet indoors. He's gone 13.6 outdoors. And most people love to have a vaulter where, they're only going 13.6, 14 feet. But I think it's just a matter of time when he finally breaks out that he'll be up around 16 or 16 and a half. I didn't know if you knew he actually is going to go to Air Force Academy. He was accepted there, and they recruited him to vault for them.
Coach, speaking of pole vault, I wanted to ask you a question. I saw on the news this week that Ansonia actually has a very good freshman pole vaulter, and I wanted to ask what you knew about this kid, and is he someone that would actually compete with Logan maybe come postseason?
Well, they're two different divisions. Ansonia will be D3, and we're still D2 this year because it's on a 2-year cycle. I know his dad was a good vaulter, and Logan says they have a place over there where they train him and train other kids. And I remember talking to Tim Mack out of he was an Olympic champion in the pole vault in Sydney, Australia, and he only went like 12.6 in high school. And Malone College, where I went, recruited him, and I asked him, how did you go from being a 12.6 vaulter, couldn't you get out of district, to be an Olympic champ? And he said it was just a matter of vaulting all the time. And this kid's been vaulting a lot, and he's only a freshman going 15 feet. Logan said he's a really good vaulter. He's very, very good technically. So they won't actually, I don't know, they'll face each other over at maybe at Covington. That's maybe the only time we see Ansonia. So I'm not, like I said, Logan won't actually have to participate against him in tournament time.
Well, both guys will be fun to watch, that's for sure.
You, Coach, you host a small meet on Thursday before you have a big invitational Saturday. What teams or what athletes can we look out for at your meet Saturday?
Well, of course, in the girls' side, you've got Minster coming in, and they pretty much dominate all the time. But Walpock will be coming this year, and they have a very solid girls team. Anna, New Bremen, and Russia will all be strong. I think Minster girls should be pretty big favorite, but I think it will be close between Wapak, Anna, New Bremen, and Russia for the 2nd through 4th spots. On the boys' side, again, Minster boys, I don't know when the last time they've lost our invitational, but they're really good. Anna will be right in there in Wapak, and I figure West Liberty and Salem will also be in there. They have a lot of good individuals, and a team like Russia, who has a lot of good individuals, when you have that many teams in there, if you can get a place, they're going to have Russia's going to get a lot of places in the top 4, and that will help them be competitive.
Coach, looking away from your team, is there any other athletes in the area that you're looking forward to seeing or watching throughout the season?
Well, we were kind of talking, too, about the Invitational. Josh Miller at Botkins just threw 57 on Tuesday, feet in the shot put, and in the discus, he threw 163, while the kid from Liberty Center is going to be there Saturday. He threw 61-4 indoors.
Wow.
So you could possibly see 2 of the best throwers in the whole state at Anna on Saturday. So that'll be interesting to see how Josh Miller, who's been really good for a long time, he's going to have a chance to go up against the defending indoor state champ. And the rest of the ones I'm really looking forward to watching as the year progresses. Of course, Fort Laramie's distance boys. The Ballast brothers and Reithman, Holt Heidi, they've had a great cross. They did really good indoors. They're going to be fun to watch because they have so much talent, and they just keep getting better year in and year out. And on that side, too, the Spitzer boy from Versailles, who had a great cross season. His mom actually ran for me at Anna, so I have kind of a rooting interest in that. And I think that Steinbrunner for Versailles, the hurdler, he's got off to a good start, and I remember watching him at the end of last year, how good he is. So those are some of the ones personally I've been intrigued to follow as the year goes on.
Yeah, a lot of good names you just mentioned there, Coach. I agree with you. I'm looking forward to watching all those as well. One more question before we let you go, but I heard some rumblings here before the season started about the OHSAA possibly going to 6 divisions in track and field maybe here in the future. What do you know about that? Is there any merit to that? And what's your opinion on that?
This was actually proposed 2 years ago, or a year and a half, and the people, it was one of the coaches down in Loveland, down in Cincinnati area. I think we legitimately have a beef that we should be 4 divisions, but they looked into it, and they looked at states across the nation, same size, same number of kids competing and stuff, and a lot of those areas have at least 6 divisions. And the reasoning behind 6 divisions was the OHSAA could actually make a lot of money. And they felt that was something that the OHSAA would be interested in, is they just don't want to lose money. They're afraid if they go to 4 divisions, they'll lose money. So the idea is if they go to 6 divisions, they would skip district or skip regionals. You qualify directly from districts to state, but you have maybe 12 districts around the state for each division that would qualify. So you'd knock out the regionals, which is usually a money loser for the OHSA. My gut tells me that they'll never go 6 divisions, even if it would be feasible to them money-wise, just because then they'd have to, other sports would probably say, let us go 5 divisions and so forth. I'm just really hoping maybe this will push them to go 4.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that develops. But listen, Coach, I want to say thanks for taking the time out to talk to us tonight. Good to always talk to you, and best of luck this weekend. I look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
And right now, the weather doesn't look too bad.
Okay. Yeah, that's always one factor you got to keep your eye on, especially this time of year. So, all right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, that was the head coach of the Anna Rockets, Dean Stewart, and I didn't know you said you ran track in junior high for a year, huh?
Yeah, I thought I'd try it out, but I found baseball as my true passion after one season.
All right, listen, good stuff there. And we have just a minute. I want to go back to the sound room real quick. And guys, I know we're talking spring sports here right now, but Heavy D, we just finished up with a basketball season, and already we've heard there's some a shakeup in the SCL-AL on both the girls and the boys side.
Yeah, a little bit of a shakeup there for the Houston Wildcats. First-year coach Brad Francis has resigned. Got the team up and running this year. Saw some positive things there. Best of luck to Houston and Brad going forward. And then for
Anna, we had Doug Martin
Doug
third
Martin
season,
resigned
yeah.
after 3 years for the Lady Rockets.
Yeah, he has some talent over there, and I think whoever takes over that position is probably going to be able to experience some immediate success on that. Houston, I know, as you said, had some positive things, but struggled to a 3-20 record, and I'm sure they're looking to improve upon that next year. So we'll see how that develops as in these next several weeks. Hopefully they'll find some answers over there, and I'm sure when they do, we'll be reporting on it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, one more thing to get to tonight, guys, and that is tonight's poll question that had to do with baseball. Brandon, why don't you read that for our viewers again?
Yeah, our poll question, again, if anyone didn't see earlier, it was who was the favorite to win the SCL in baseball this year? It was either Anna, Botkins, Houston, or Russia.
TK, what do we have for any responses tonight?
All right, this is a clean sweep by our hometown fans. Russia gets all the votes out of those 4 teams, so maybe it's a little hometown bias there, but the Russia Raiders take out all the votes tonight.
All the Anna viewers must have watched tonight must have been track fans.
Yeah, probably we're just the track fans.
And the Larmy fans are probably yelling at their computer monitors right now. Why weren't we on there? But all right, guys, great stuff, and that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Do want to say special thanks to Anna coach Dean Stewart for joining us on the show tonight. Thanks to the viewers out there for tuning in. Ken and I and the crew are actually going to take next week off. Going to be back in a couple weeks. So until then, thanks for tuning in, and good night, everyone.
Hanging at the fishing pond, hanging at the fishing pond, hanging at the fishing pond, hanging at the fishing pond. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fishing pond. Don't need no bed, don't need no pole when you tune in to the fishing pond, hanging at the fishing pond.